Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I am Zmore, the dad in DPS, and today we are back with another episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Scrip. Now, if you saw my Purveyor video on the Saturday there, you will probably know exactly what weapon is coming. But if you don't, yeah, you're in for a treat. It's a very powerful weapon. But before we get into that, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, helps me out in general, and, you know, keeps me going. Now it's time we give more blood to the blood god. So today's weapon, if you missed the other day's video, is a vampire's explosive 90% reduced weight minigun. Now this thing has a fire rate that is just insane. Combine that with vampires and explosive, and the fact that I've got that melee shredder on there, anything comes in within 2 inches of my face is going to be reduced not only to a pile of mush, that mush will be on fire and I will be drinking its blood essentially. This thing is fantastic. I am really happy with it. It is a fantastic weapon with the effects that it's got on there. Now obviously the explosive effect isn't as good as it used to be when it comes to vampires, but it's still pretty damn good. So let's see how it does. So, this gun in general. Now, it has a few downsides to it. Obviously, it has the spin-up time with your gun. So, essentially, you don't immediately start firing, which can be problematic if you're swarmed with enemies and they keep stunning you. The next downside is per shot, its damage isn't exactly amazing. On the Scorched I was doing about 40 per main hit, and then about 15-17 per explosive hit. So it's not exactly the highest DPS weapon, well, DPS, damage per hit weapon in the game. But what it doesn't have in damage per hit, it has in hits per second, and you do an absolute crap ton of damage in a short amount of time. Where is that? Ah, there you are. So in terms of what the weapon does, it's absolutely fantastic. Now the other downside with that is you're using a lot of ammo. I mean, in the same amount of time I could be using a Gatling gun and killing enemies maybe not just as quick, but as efficiently at least, and that's where this weapon is problematic, is that you will go through a lot of ammo for not quite the same amount of cost. Gatling gun definitely is probably the better weapon to go through shooting little guys. The minigun, probably you're better off against big things like Scorched Beast Queen and like Super Mutant Behemoths, that kind of thing. So this weapon is going to thrive against high HP enemies. Obviously the sustained fire is going to use a lot more ammo, but there are ways around that, as we'll discuss later. Overall though, it's a very good weapon and it is going to output a lot of damage really quickly. You just need to be using it right. And on that note, it probably is best utilised in power armour. Like pretty much all heavy guns, power armour is what makes the gun just do that extra bit of damage. I just couldn't really be bothered emptying my inventory at the moment in order to show you what it would be like in power armour, because you guys all know it's always going to do that extra little bit of damage. You're just going to get that extra little bit of utility out of it. But as you can see, even without it, it still completely destroys these Scorched. So I've went into this build multiple times at this stage. I'm really not going to go into it in any great depth. We've got the heavy gunner perks in order to boost damage, things like glow sight to boost damage. We have demolition expert for damage, adrenaline for more damage, and then all the survivability perks and damage perks on here. There are plenty of other ones that you could put on, plenty of different things you could move around, but overall this is the build. Screenshot it or whatever so you can see exactly what I'm using and look into it yourself. But yeah, this is what I'm using to do the damage. Now, as usual, we're going to visit Jeff and disturb his bathing time and shoot him in the face. As you can see, not exactly doing the most damage in the world in comparison, but he's getting nowhere near me, and he's dying fairly easily, which is the main factor here. Obviously, he would die quicker if the Mincer Blade was initiated on him, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. But you are using about 200 rounds of ammo, so again, not the most efficient way of doing it, but certainly an easy way of doing it. Now, with this weapon, I kind of want to just show you what happens when I come up against the Mirelurks in this area in general. Now, the Queen is obviously one threat. What is she doing all the way over there? But yeah, if any of the other Mirelurks show up, we will see what we can do to them. Now, the good thing about this weapon is because of all the different little perks I've got on, it's hovelled the Mirelurk Queen, and she just falls down like a sack of crap. I wonder where all the Mirelurks have went. I'm assuming someone else must have cleared them. But yeah, this weapon turns the Queen into pate. So it is a very good weapon, and because of the sheer amount of shots it fires, it cripples her really damn quickly. So yeah, very good weapon. Very, very good weapon. So, daily ops with this gun, well, it absolutely works very well in this mode. Don't know where all the enemies are. I think they're chasing my friend there, and you'll see in a second what it does to anything that comes in its path. The biggest problem you'll have with this gun in general is that while you are firing, you're an unkillable, unstoppable machine of death. When you stop firing, you're not as durable as I'd like. As you can see, the enemies are shooting into me, and yeah, they're not getting anywhere near killing me. But I do take a lot of damage, and that's the kind of the inherent problem with this gun in general, is that if I take the damage, I'm gonna die. So yeah, you need to time your reloads and make sure that you're not reloading while you're up against a load of enemies. Otherwise, you might go down like a sack of potatoes. So, overall, very good gun. Very good survivability. Sack of potatoes otherwise. Obviously, in my power armor, I would be a bit more durable as well. But at the same time, I don't necessarily want to use that today. But we're killing these enemies really quickly, and this is robots, which are the harder of the enemies to deal with in most cases because of their ridiculous armor. But at the same time, we are surviving things that I would not normally survive because I am taking hits like a freaking god. So we're gonna have the boss appearing in a little minute here, and while we're waiting on him and me showing you how this gun turns him into a fine powder, reloading, we will talk about ammo. So in terms of ammo, this gun, as I've stated before, it uses up a lot of it. But in daily ops, these enemies drop about anywhere between like, I think it's about 10 to 60 ammo. Because of this, I can grind a lot of ammo fairly quickly, especially if I use the oh Jesus, completely destroyed. Essentially, if I use the Gatling gun to grind ammo. On top of that, you also get a lot of ammo from, God, that bug's annoying. You get a lot of ammo from completing it. So I don't think if I'm using this gun in this, I'm going to break even, but at the same time, I'm certainly going to make back a huge chunk of my ammo that I've used. So I would heavily recommend this weapon for daily ops for just sheer survivability, and then you can always grind ammo in here as well using a Gatling gun. So very, very good weapon, does a lot of damage, does a lot of healing, just very good gun for just general utility and survivability. Well, that's today's video. Overall, I think this weapon has been an absolutely fantastic lucky find from Murga. And if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, helps keep me motivated, and keeps me chugging along with these videos. Now, before we go, we'll leave another dad joke for you guys. So, a skeleton walks into a bar and says, "Hey bartender, I'll have a beer and a mop." Well, guys, catch you next time in the wasteland.